You're listening to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show with your hosts, the Fantasy Insider, Matt Brick, the Commish, Henry Brick, and the Doctor, Jeff Hathcott. You are listening to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. It is our last show of the season. You are here. We've made it. The championship week, week 17. I'm joined with Henry the Commish Brick and Jeff the Doctor coming back.
Let's go.
How are we feeling tonight, gentlemen?
Well, I mean, for those of you who don't know, I am a new dad. My kid is.
Oh, they know, Jeff. We've let them know. We've let them know where you are.
So little Cooper, he's doing great. Mom's with him right now. She was so gracious to let me do this show, this last show for the year. But yeah, I'm super pumped. I'm in a bunch of finals myself, ready for those championships, and I'm all fired up. I'm ready to get the ball rolling.
Man, it's great to have you back. Really is, Doctor. Really great to have you. I think together, all three of us make a great team on this show, and it's I love doing it with you. I love doing it with all you. Matt, you've been an amazing host all year, and I appreciate your guidance and taking us through everything. I myself, Jeff, I know Matt knows this. I am made the ship in a 32-man league. What?
Pretty crazy.
32 man. So I am like pumped out of my mind. I basically, how about this? In the 32-man league, I was the last to draft the quarterback, and guess who it was? Danny Dimes, who takes me through the season like a champion. But because everyone went so quarterback early, I get Jonathan Taylor and JC3. Like,
there you go.
And because Danny Dimes turned it on, and then of course he gets hurt. So guess who I pick up? The Brock Ness monster? What? Like, that's crazy. You're only allowed to hold one quarterback. So someone dropped him during the bye week because they had like a week 14 bye week, and it was just like perfect, crazy timing. It's unbelievable. So
scoop him up and have a day.
I feel good about it. The guy I'm playing, he outscored it. He scored above and beyond himself last week, and I feel like he's lucky to be there. But anything can happen in fantasy. So
yes, it can.
I'm crossing my fingers and hoping it comes through, man. But 32 man, this is first time I ever did a 30-man league, and holy crap!
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'd definitely be interested in that for sure next year. But
I never even heard of one until this year. I was like, oh my god.
Let's go.
Awesome. Let's try.
How are you doing, Matt?
Well, I made my championship in my league. I've been doing my league for 10 years now. I want to say 11 years, one of them, and I haven't won this league, but
this is your league of record
a year, and I hope I can finish strong. But other than that, I've recently looked and I've won. It looks like I'm winning a lot of best ball leagues too, so I'm winning some money there. And as you both know, I've won several dollars in the DFS fraction.
Yes, you have.
You crushed this year in DFS, man.
I mean, as much as I didn't win other leagues, I've done pretty well this year, so I'm happy with myself. But we got to let the people know what to do this week, so let's get right into it with the news. We got some news here this week. More injuries, of course, every week. Lamar Jackson had a back injury and did not return on Sunday Night Football, so that's going to be probably one of the biggest ones this week. So keep an eye on Lamar. Quinshon Judkins dislocated his ankle and fractured his fibula. Hope the best for him there. That's a brutal injury, especially at this time of year.
He had surgery today.
Okay, yeah, he's going to have a lot to come back, and man, I hope he's okay.
Not an easy injury to come back from at all.
Yeah, it's tough, especially during this year because now it's going to be a long time for him to come back. Ryan Flournoy was ruled out with a knee injury, which I don't even remember them saying on TV, but that happened. Pat Bryant, that one was tough. He got carted off the field after a hard hit.
Yeah.
Hope he's okay. Jordan Love is in concussion protocol. I wasn't able to watch that game, but man, all I heard was that Malik Willis looked good.
He looks really good.
He was
He
running
did.
like crazy, man.
Yeah.
And it's a shame he fumbled at the end. But
Right.
he had him in it. He had him in it. Yeah.
Gardner Minshew. I mean, it's not funny, but it's like he also tore his ACL. Back-to-back weeks, quarterbacks turn their ACL. Like that's 1 in a billion, probably. It's crazy. I hope the best for him. JJ McCarthy was ruled out with a hand injury. This is, I mean, I don't know how many games McCarthy's missed, but it's like it's starting to get a little scary there. Jordan Mason was ruled out with an ankle injury. Demario Douglas was ruled out with a hamstring injury, and DK Metcalf has officially been suspended 2 games for throwing hands at a fan. His appeal was upheld, and he will officially miss the rest of the regular season. So, if you have DK Metcalf, you're not going to be able to start him this week because he's not playing football. He got too much frustrated with that fan, and from what it looks like, I saw a clip from a fan like near that guy, and it doesn't look like the guy said anything that egregious to him. But you can't. I don't think that you just can't.
You can't hit the fans.
Yeah, can't do it.
It's just
They pay their salary, man. Fans,
Yeah.
Like,
So
you can't have them.
Yep.
Horrible.
all right.
Yeah.
Let's go into the stardom segment. I'll start it off for you guys. This week, this one's going to be tough. I'm going to have to ask you guys what to do in my league here because I'm at a loss because I don't know what to do. But I have Dak Prescott to start. He goes up against the poor Washington Commanders on Christmas. Washington has allowed 344 fantasy points to quarterbacks, which is 31st in the league. As long as Dak is playing, I think he completely dominates his defense. But I'm scared to start him because I'm listen. I think we all know Commanders both teams are out. Obviously, they're eliminated from the playoffs. But Commanders' defense is bad, and I think Dak can do well. However, I think they might do too well too early, and they might just end up running the ball in the second half. Now, I have Dak in this championship, and I also have Matthew Stafford, who plays the Falcons on Monday Night Football, and I'm considering starting Stafford over Dak because I'm going up against Puka Nacua.
okay.
And I think hopefully Devontae Adams plays this week. Stafford has more options, and I like that it's on Monday night. The Rams they're still in it. They need the win, and I think that as of right now, talking to you both, I think Stafford's the right call. And keep in mind, I'm playing Puka Nacua, who is his receiver. So that's my thought process right now. What do you guys think?
You said you're
Go ahead, Doctor. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You're playing against Puka Nacua, correct?
I'm playing against Puka Nacua, correct?
Yeah, I feel like going Staff. I mean, listen, like you said before, Dak, they could be doing so well that they shut him down in the second half.
Right.
I definitely think Stafford's going to be out there the entire game, barring an injury. The way Puka is playing right now, I mean, you might
crazy.
have to have Stafford in there just to try to counteract whatever he's going to do.
Just to cancel him out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm hoping Devontae Adams is able to play because hopefully he gets a couple balls thrown to him. That way it's not all Puka, but it's not easy to to just not expect Puka to go off, So
I just made a blockbuster trade in a dynasty.
Yes, I was going to bring it up.
I trade away broken Patty Mahomes and broken who's the running?
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs for Matthew Stafford, Ramondre Stevenson, and I don't know if you ever heard of this guy, Derrick Henry, and I got a couple draft picks. Listen, the guys I got are old guys. I get it. But I feel as though this should enable me to score much more than my opponent in the ship, who happens to be my son. So sorry about his luck. I love Stafford this week. He is playing for something. And I think the doctor's right. Dak, who I think I have them actually ranked pretty close to each other, but they don't have nothing. They have nothing to play for. Stafford is playing to win, and I think he goes and dominates Atlanta all day long.
Yeah.
I think you have to go Stafford.
All right,
100%.
fair enough. Wish me luck. He has Puka and he has Christian McCaffrey, but
That's right. You have
I
don't you have like Bijan
I
and
have
Jason
James Cook
Terry?
and I have Bijan, so hopefully
All
I'll be
right.
able to
They
overcome.
they cancel out each other. It's
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
All right, so I have Dak to start this week. Next, I have Chase Brown, who just came off of a 3-touchdown performance last Sunday. The Bengals played the Cardinals this Sunday, and the Cardinals have allowed 382 fantasy points against running backs, which is 31st in the league. Brown can have another great game this Sunday, and you're going to want to start him in your lineups for sure. Next, I have Juwan Jennings. Obviously, I think this depends more on whether or not Ricky Pearsall can play, but I think Juwan Jennings can do very well against the Bears on Monday Night Football. Wait, is that right? They play on Monday night? That doesn't sound right. They play, unless it's a doubleheader, unless I wrote it
It might
wrong.
be a doubleheader.
Oh, really?
Let me see.
There's so many games this week all over the place that I'm lost. So.
All right, I'll have to look at that. The Bears have allowed 485 fantasy points to wide receivers, which is 23rd in the league. Especially without Pearsall, Jennings becomes the wide receiver 1 there in this offense and can completely ball out on Monday Night Football. Of course, I wrote if I wrote Monday Night Football, I'm gonna trust my gut there.
It's
lastly, it is Sunday night. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Sunday night. There's only one Monday night. And it's Stafford versus Atlanta.
Right. Sunday Night Football. That's still not bad. That's a good, prime time.
Yeah, that's very good.
I'll take it. Lastly, give me Chris Olave against the Titans. The Titans have allowed 490 fantasy points to wide receivers, which is 24th in the league, though Tyler Shuck has been on a hot streak, and I believe it continues this week against the Titans. So those are my starts this week. The Doctor, welcome back. Who do you have to start this week?
The Doctor.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, guys, this is the time of year, especially when you have injuries and stuff like that. It's one game and go home. Like if your guys don't show up, they don't show up. But for me, I'm attacking a defense right now that cannot stop the run. So if you got Trevion Henderson, I know he's in concussion protocol, but if he plays this week, I don't care if it whatever statistics might be, you have to get him in your lineup. And if he's not in the lineup, if he's missing this week, you have to have Ramondre Stevenson in your lineup. Without a question. This Jets defense, they are playing a third-string quarterback. They have given away their players. Garrett Wilson's not playing. He's shut down for the year. They have given up on the season. This is definitely going to be a crazy type game where I think, even Drake May, I think he's going to have himself a great day. I love this running back room. You have to, if you have pieces of this, even if both of them are active, I think you're better off, playing these guys just because it's just a smash start. I'm also going with Michael Carter. He outsnapped Dean Ricardo. He had 14 carries to Dean Ricardo's 6 last week. He was the better runner. I don't know if you guys got to watch that game, but he was running and gashing, the defense all over the field. I don't know why he didn't get more involved, truly, but hopefully he stays the main guy. He gets more carries, and I think against this Bengals defense, they are the worst defense against the running back. So I think Michael Carter, especially if you have all these injuries, like we just talked about, Trevion Henderson, if you have him and he's not playing, Josh Jacobs might not play. There's so many injuries this week with running backs. If Michael Carter's on that waiver wire, or you have him sitting on your bench just waiting, I think this is the opportune moment to definitely use this. I know for me, when I was looking later in the season, I had James Conner, I had Trey Benson. I was looking at this matchup weeks and weeks and weeks ago going, if I get to the chip, I'm going to have these guys to play against this bad team. And if you got Michael Carter, great. And then Matt talked about a little bit DK Metcalf. There's no DK Metcalf for the remainder of these next two games. And these running backs with Pittsburgh, the tandem of Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren, they look great. They ran all over a defense in Detroit that people really didn't think you could run against them. So go figure. So I'm going with Jalen Warren, and if you got Kenneth Gainwell, fire him up too. Aaron Rodgers, he loves to give the ball to Gainwell in the passing game, and Jalen Warren, he looks great. I was calling it. This is weeks ago. I was calling for people to buy on Jalen Warren. I know we had questions coming in on running backs to try to acquire for the push. I was high on Jalen Warren. It's nice to see him coming through for people, and I think he's going to have another great game this week. How are we feeling, Henry? What are your great picks that you got for us, my friend?
Sorry, I was on mute. Listen, I'm feeling really good this week. I'm in several leagues, as you know. I did 30 leagues, which was definitely way too much. I'll probably cut that down next year. But I'm in several ships, which is great. Listen, at quarterback, I'm loving Trevor Lawrence versus the Colts. Probably the hottest quarterback right now, scoring over 75 fantasy points the last 2 weeks. And Colts are vulnerable at versus the pass. And he wants the AFC East title. So I know before the show we were talking about Drake May versus Lawrence. I put Trevor Lawrence over Drake May in this segment because I don't know if people are thinking, what do I do if I had both? If I had both, I'd start Drake May for the record, okay? But if I don't, Trevor Lawrence, absolutely an excellent start this week. I gave that for the doctor. Now, you brought up Travion Henderson. I think he will not play because of the concussion. We will see. You got to make sure you're checking the injury report. But I love Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's a top 8 play this week versus the Jets. He's going to give you RB1 numbers, carrying, obviously if he carries the full workload this week for sure. I love him in the ship play. I love him in the DFS play. I think you have to get him in your lineup. Absolutely. Stephon Diggs, another guy. Drake May's going to be throwing the ball early and often to him. And once they establish that they're crushing them, Ramondre kind of takes over and carries them the rest of the way. So last week, Diggs, he put up 10 for 138. Okay. So I can see a repeat performance of that this week for sure. And finally, tight end, I'm going Harold Fannin Jr. He goes up against the Steelers. Last 4 weeks, he's hit double digits scoring. What is it? Like I think it was around 14 points a week. Okay, he is your tight end to win your ship this week. Get him in your lineup. That's what I got.
All right, let's go into our sit-ems this week. I'll start it off for you all. This week, what I did was I looked at there's an article on ESPN.com, and I saw the most rostered players in the playoffs right now. So the odds are, I looked at the players that are most likely in the championships right now. So that's why these might sound like hot takes, but I'm going with them and I'm standing by them this week because there's no dude I'm sorry this next week. And I won't be sorry next week because we won't be here. But here we go. This week, I think it will be very tough to start Josh Allen. Odds are you are in the championship with Josh Allen, but he plays my Philadelphia Eagles this week, who have allowed 221 fantasy points to quarterbacks, which is 4th in the league. He just had a terrible game against the Cleveland Browns. He threw for 130 yards and 0 touchdowns. Do yourself a favor and bench him this week to save yourself a championship. Next, it is also very likely you're in the championship with Jonathan Taylor. This is another bench for me. Taylor plays the Jags, who have allowed 257 fantasy points against running backs, which is 2nd in the league. Last time Taylor played the Jags, he had 74 rushing yards and a touchdown, but 0 receiving yards. He normally averages 25 points per game, and I just don't think he gets you there this week. Lastly, Jamison Williams. He goes up against the Vikings this week in a divisional battle against Minnesota. So they've allowed 340 fantasy points to wide receivers, which is the best in the league, or first, if you will. I think Jamison Williams might just disappear in this game, and the Lions may rely more on the running game. So those are my 3 sits this week. They're very, very very hot takes, but take them as you will. Doctor, who you got to sit this week?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment too, because I snuck in the one dynasty league the 3 of us play in. I snuck into the championship because I played against Josh Allen. So I'm very surprised that he still was able to sneak into so many championships according to ESPN. But go figure. That just goes to show you that even when you have a super bad week, you can still come through. But yeah, I'm going with AJ Barner. For those of you who don't know, they're playing against the Carolina. The Seahawks are. They're very stingy against giving tight ends any points. So if you have him in your lineup, I would try to pivot. Again, he's just not a strong start for me. And I don't know if you guys have been on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, but David Montgomery has been posting some odd stuff, and he's been liking some posts that are basically calling out for him to ask for a trade and stuff like that. So we all know Gibbs has kind of been taking over that backfield ever since Ben Johnson got moved. It's no longer a 50-50 split or a 60-40 split. I feel like Montgomery's in there maybe just to get a touchdown every now and again, or to ice the game because it's over in a blowout. But if these games are competitive, it's pretty much the Jahmyr Gibbs show. So if you have David Montgomery, I wouldn't be looking to play him at all. And then Ladd McConkey, it pains me, but this is going to be an interesting game. They're going up against Houston. I know the Raiders just did surprisingly well against this Houston defense, which it was still a great day for the defense. They showed up, they got the pick 6 to start the game, which was nuts. But I just don't see Ladd McConkey having that great of a day. I know Justin Herbert just had himself a day in this Chargers team. I know Ladd McConkey got into the end zone this past week against the Dallas defense, which is absolutely garbage and nothing like the Houston defense. And this pains me to say too, because I'm gonna probably have to start Ladd McConkey in our championship, in our big auction league that we all play in. I'm in the chip in that as well, and he's my second or third receiver, and there's really not anything on the waiver wire for me to kind of plug in and put him, put someone in over him. But it's going to be a struggle bus. I'm not expecting a lot of points from Ladd McConkey this week. Maybe he'll surprise you. Maybe he'll get lucky and get into the end zone. But yeah, he's a strong sit for me if you can afford it. How we doing, Henry?
Well, here's what I got, guys. We kind of brushed on this. Before I get started, I have to bring up, you mentioned Josh Allen. There's a league I ran that I unfortunately did not make the playoffs, but I'm watching the Final Four matchups, and crazy thing is this one guy, he has Josh Allen. He has the team. He has Jonathan Taylor. He's got all these big monster names. He had Jawan Jennings last night. He loses by less than 2 points. And, of course, Josh Allen, I think, game 8 or something for the day. And he's like, this is unbelievable. He was like one of the highest scoring – he was the highest scoring team in the league all year.
That's fantasy, baby.
That's what I said. I said, dude, that's fantasy, What are you going to do, So crazy. And the crazy thing is, the guy that beat him, Paul Brown, I don't know if you know Paul Brown. This was Tim's league. I took it over because Tim needed to take a year off. And Paul Brown, the name of his team is Auto Draft, because he literally auto drafted because his dad was rushed to the hospital while we're drafting. So he couldn't even draft, and he literally was auto drafted his team, and he's in the ship. Tells you, He knows a lot more than we do. I think some days it's crazy, unbelievable. Anywho, here's my sits of the week. I got Jared Goff versus the Vikings. Okay, they give up the second fewest points to the quarterback. Look what they did to Dart last week. It's an away game, and I think, like Matt said, they're going to be relying heavily on the run there. So Goff, got to set him for your ship this week. That's another reason why I made that trade in the Dynasty League, because it's a 2 quarterback league. I have Hurts, I have Mahomes, and I have Goff. I scored 200 and what? I think 15 points last week.
223 points, Henry.
Or 223. That's what.
Don't short yourself.
All right, 223, and I was hoping I win. The guy I lose to scored like 215, 207. It was over 200. Unbelievable. Got to be on your toes in today's fantasy world, that's for sure. But anyway, I was afraid because I think Goff's a horrible play this week, so that's a big reason why I went to get Stafford. Breece Hall versus the Pats. They give up the third fewest points to the running back. So, and on top of that, he's running by a horrible offensive line. He's averaging 2.9 yards a carry, right? So, and he's failed to score double-digit points the last 3 weeks of fantasy. So, Breece Hall, you can't have him in your lineup in the ship. Here's another big name, but I think this is kind of a no-brainer because of his play lately. Emeka Egbuka. I know he's playing the Dolphins, and you're thinking, wow, Henry, it's the Dolphins. Well, guess what? Last 4 out of 5 matchups, he hasn't scored double-digit fantasy points. Ever since Mike Evans is back in the picture, he's been totally limited. Last week, 2 targets. That's it. I think he had one big catch for 40 yards, something like that. So he's a sit for me versus the Panthers this week. And finally, crazy, but true. And I've been saying it all season. Tight ends versus the Birds, you got to sit them. That means Dalton Kincaid, who put up a whopping 0 last week. Okay. This week he has the Birds who give up less than 10 fantasy points a game to the tight end. You got to sit Dalton Kincaid. That's what I got, boys.
All right, let's segue to the world famous Dude I'm Sorry segment. But before that, you are listening to us on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT Vineland, and you're listening to us live here on YouTube. All right. You want to go first, Commish? Why don't you go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
Yeah. Last week, I feel a little bit better about it because the doctor put him in such a very positive aura his last segment. But I was, as you said, you talked about him, Doctor. I was very high on Michael Carter last week. Matter of fact, I had him as my deep sleeper, and I kind of really liked him. Very high on him. I was high on him for sleeper. I was high on him for DFS last week. He ends up putting 11 carries for 65 yards. They were great, and he started off really strong. But man, I think the way the game went awry at the end. I think Brissett threw a pick. They stopped running the ball, and that stopped him short of greatness last week. So for this dude, I am sorry. However, if you listened to the show last week, I loved Burrow, Mr. Joseph Burrow. I was high on him the week before. Matt was busting my chops about him. Burrow. What does he do? He puts up 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. Hey, hopefully you listen to me. You're in the ship because Burrow put you there. Great job.
All right, I'll talk about my dude. I'm sorry. Last week I told you to start DK Metcalf, who had 4 catches for 42 yards and threw hands at a fan, causing him to be suspended. For that, dude, I'm sorry. But I did tell you to start Justin Herbert with 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devon Achane. Sorry, I keep screwing that one up. Who he had 81 yards and a touchdown, and Romeo Doubs on Thursday Night Football had 84 yards and a touchdown. So I did you some help there. Hopefully it helped you out there. So, all right, it's time for the DFS lineups of the week. I will start it off for you. Here we go. This is last week here. Let's make some money. let's finish off strong. So here we go. Here's my DFS line for the week. I'm starting off strong at quarterback. I'm going with Baker Mayfield at 5,600 against the Miami Dolphins. The Bucs are not out just yet. They're still in it. They need to win. They're currently out of the. They're not winning the division right now because they just lost to the Panthers. But I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see who actually wins that division. But I like the. I don't know. I like the Bucs. I guess we'll see. But I have Baker Mayfield against the Dolphins, 5,600. I think that's a great price. Against a defense that's a little iffy. So I like that pick there. At running back, I have Chase Brown, who I spoke about earlier in the show. 7,400 against the Cardinals. They're 31st against the running backs in fantasy points. So that excellent start there. Next, I have Michael Carter at 5,200. Excellent price at Cincinnati. The Bengals are 32nd against the run in fantasy points for running backs. So I think Michael Carter will have a good game. He looked good last week. Now I'm hoping this happens, but Devontae Adams at 6,700, him coming back against the Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football. I think, this is more just projecting. I just want him to do better than Puka Nacua this week because, man, that would just make my day. But I do think if he does come back, he will be able to score you some points. So I like that there. Mike Evans is my next receiver at 6,500 against the Dolphins. So I have the stack with Mayfield. Lastly, I have Michael Pittman Jr., who is somehow, some way, listen, I get that he's getting thrown the ball by Philip Rivers, but 4,900 for Michael Pittman Jr. is highway robbery at this point. He's been very listen, I understand that it's because of Philip Rivers, but over the course of the season, he's been very consistent with Daniel Jones, and I think he could have a great game against the Jags. So I love that there. Great savings. My tight end is Hunter Henry at 4,500 against the Jets. The Jets are terrible, and hopefully they can hire this year because someone's got to fix that team somehow, some way. I hope the best there. Lastly, my flex is Juwan Jennings at 5,600 against the Bears on Sunday Night Football. I think with Juwan being the one, he could still ball out. I know he blanked on that first half last night, but he started catching the balls after getting targets in the second half. So keep an eye on Juwan Jennings. Lastly, I'm going with the Saints defense. They've been balling, gentlemen, balling. And only 3,500.
What did they have? Like 8 sacks?
They had 8 or 9 sacks last week. Like, come
crazy.
on. This is free money we're talking about. Saints defense, 3,500 against the Titans. Cam Ward, he's going to be scared. He's going to be saying, please, coach, take me out of the game. I'm getting pummeled here. So that is my defense line of the week. Hopefully you wrote it down, memorized it, and let's win some money. Jeff, what do we have this week for your line?
Yeah, I'm going with Trevor Lawrence, 6,100. Henry talked about it a little bit before. In the past 2 weeks, he scored over 75 fantasy points. This Indianapolis Colts team, it's a divisional game, but this Colts defense they were Swiss cheese last night against Brock Purdy and the Niners. Brock Purdy pretty much did whatever he wanted to do throwing the ball wise. And right now, Trevor Lawrence, no one's throwing the ball better than Trevor Lawrence. No one. The guy's awesome. He's getting everyone involved. BTJ is not even having an incredible resurgence or anything like that. Like once they got Jacoby Myers, I feel like this entire offense unlocked. Parker Washington's doing crazy stuff. I love Trevor Lawrence for 6,100. Travion Henderson, 6,400. Obviously, you talked about this before going up against the Jets defense. Obviously, keep an eye on if he's going to miss the game. If he misses the game, I totally am okay swapping him and Ramondre, 1-1, and then you can fill other pieces in, because Ramondre is cheaper right now. But I have Travion Henderson in there, 6,400. I'm hoping he plays because I have him in the chip this week, and I really, really, really could use him. Kyron Williams, 6,700. Unlike Matt, who thinks Devontae's going to play this week, I do not think Devontae's going to play this week. And I think it's going to be either Kyron Williams or Blake Corum, who's another strong start. They're going to run a lot on this Carolina team, and I think they're either of them can get in for multiple scores. And then Josh Downs 4,200. Phillip Rivers, he's pushing the ball downfield more, but he's getting Josh Downs involved a lot more, and it's kind of been Michael Pittman's kind of the odd man out, especially from last night. Like Josh Downs just kept getting the ball thrown to him. For 4,200, dart throw, he could find his way into the end zone against this Jaguars defense that they can give up stuff underneath. And then Jacoby Myers 5,300. I love what Jacoby's been doing since he's been on this Jaguars team, and I got him up there with Trevor Lawrence with a stack. I'm also going with Alec Pierce 4,700. I know it's kind of crazy having Josh Downs and Alec Pierce, but this is the divisional game. The Jaguars are coming to play. Phillip Rivers didn't come out of retirement just to lay down and die. He's going to get these guys involved. And for 4,700, if Alec Pierce gets the ball thrown to him like he did just last night, finds his way into the end zone, maybe not twice like he did, but at least once, I think that's a nice floor play. And then tight end, Trey McBride 7,500. Look out, because if you're in the championship and you're going up against Trey McBride, God bless. Because good luck. He's going up against this Bengals defense. They are the worst against the tight end. And Trey McBride, he's averaging at least 7 catches a game. He's finding the end zone. He could have a career day. He could. I mean, we just saw Kyle Pitts have the best performance in fantasy for a tight end. Trey McBride might crush that. And then I also have in my flex Michael Carter 5,200. I think he's going to be great on the ground. And then I'm going with that Seahawks defense 3,700. They've been great all year. They've been pretty consistent. They had the one down week against the Rams. Yes, it's the Rams. Like the Rams have an insane offense. Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua are playing out of their minds. But I think they get back on track and they play a heck of a game this week and get you some points. How we feeling, Henry?
Well, Doctor, man, it's just great having you back on the program. And as always, excellent information. I'm going with the number one start of the week at the QB position. That'll be the Drake May. Plays the Jets. Okay, he's going to light him up meat. That's the deal there. He's only 6,800. He's mispriced. Okay, he puts up monster numbers this week. I'm going with Ramondre Stevenson. Again, I don't believe that Trey will play, and he's a bargain at 5,900. He puts up RB1 numbers, like I said earlier. Manny Wilson at running back. Jacobs doesn't look like he's going to play. 5,500. Another RB1 situation against Baltimore at home in Green Bay, by the way, that game. So I think that's a great start for DFS. At wide receiver, guess what? 3 weeks in a row, he's putting up 14 to 16 fantasy points. That's AJ Brown. Plays Buffalo, who has no defense. They stink on defense. AJ Brown can find some serious downfield throws from Hurts, and at 7,000, I think we're going to see some big numbers there for him. Stephon Diggs, well, the Drake has to throw the ball to somebody. Like I said earlier, that will be Stephon Diggs. He'll get it done early. 5,800. Excellent price point there. And Mike Evans, okay? Since he's back, he's balling. He has Miami. It's only 6,500. You got to go Mike Evans here, right? I mean, I think that's a great play for DFS. I mentioned him earlier also at my tight end position, Harold Fana Jr. Awesome play this week. Even though the Browns are out of it, Fana Jr. is not playing like he is out of it. He's playing out of his mind. So 5,000, I think he's a great start this week to put some big top 5 points out of a tight end. My flex, this guy crushed it last week. I think he does it again this week against the Colts. It's Parker Washington. He's only 4,800 in my flex. Again, we talked about Trevor Lawrence. He's got to throw the ball to somebody. The Colts especially are very weak against the slot receiver position. That's Parker Washington, boys. And at 4,800, I think he's a great play. And guess what? It might be a little surprise to some. Birds D against Buffalo. Birds have an amazing secondary, and they're priced at 2,600. And I feel like Josh Allen hasn't been playing up to snuff. I think Eagles could take advantage of that and steal one here at Buffalo if there's any shot of them still going up a seed or maybe two in the NFL. That's what I got, boys. I think that you can win a couple of dollars for yourself. You're welcome.
All right, let's go and talk about some sleepers and long shots. I'll start it off for everyone. I'm going with Roman Wilson this week. No DK Metcalf? Okay. Next guy up would be Calvin Austin, right? And Roman Wilson. He's gonna have to get some targets if they're gonna try to win these next two games. And I think he could do something. You never know. I'm going with Roman Wilson as my long shot this week. Jeff, who do you got?
Yeah, listen, we're throwing him in DFS lineups and stuff. Parker Washington. I think just because you got BTJ, you got Jacoby Myers, Brenton Strange is playing really well. Like, someone's got to guard Parker Washington, and if you're telling me that you got the third or fourth guy who's covering this dude, and Trevor Lawrence is playing the way he's playing, Parker Washington can have another insane game where he's a top 10 wide receiver on the week. I definitely see that kind of upside. I mean, he just had 145 yards in the score this past week against the Denver Broncos defense. One of, if not the best defense in the league. He just had a blow-up game. So for me, if he's on your waiver wire and you're hurting, maybe Rashee Rice, you were planning on him, and he might not play this week, or even if he is playing this week, who knows who's throwing the ball, because it's not Mahomes or Minshew. I think he's a fine play, and he's definitely got the upside potential for sure. I love that play. How we feeling over there, Henry? What's sleeping you got for me?
I think you guys listen. Roman Wilson, I think he's such a deep sleeper. He's probably asleep. They got to wake him up a little bit to start playing some football. But I like the pick. Parker Washington, I love him. I talked about him in my DFS. But here's a sleeper that you guys may not have even thinking about. That's Raheem Sanders. Okay, Judkins out for the year, just had surgery, done. Dylan Sampson didn't play last week. We don't know the status of Dylan Sampson for the Cleveland Browns. If Dylan Sampson does not play, Raheem Sanders is your guy that goes up against the Steelers, who allow the seventh most rushing yards the last 4 weeks. So I think Raheem Sanders can find some good fantasy points this week as a deep sleeper, probably available to be picked up on waivers. There you go.
All right, let's go to the main event, the main title. Before that, you're listening to us on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT Vineland, and you're listening to us live here on YouTube. I wanted to just say something about this Parker Washington real quick. Listen, we're all Parker Washington. We're all Parker Washingtoned up this week. I don't know. There's. Oh, we lost Jeff. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Well, show must go on. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that.
Talking about Parker Washington.
Oh, Parker Washington. Oh, Jeff's back. Here we go.
Sorry.
I don't know what happened, Jeff. We lost you. You're back. All right. Parker Washington. I have a feeling he's gonna disappoint. I don't know why. I think it's that because ever since they play the Jags. No, they're on the Jags. They play the Colts.
They play the Colts.
Right. So, and we all just watched how bad the defense was played last night. But I don't know. I just have a feeling that if I'm the Colts, I'm making a plan for Parker Washington and trying to stop him because the Broncos clearly didn't do that. And I as much as we're all like, listen, I do encourage you to go get Parker Washington. I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm just saying I think there's a possibility he might bust on Sunday. He might give you like 5 points. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. There's no dude I'm sorry. So you're beat if I'm wrong. But I don't know. I as much like he had a boom game. He had an excellent, great game. I'm not trying to knock him on that. It's just that I would be just a little hesitant starting him
I mean,
because
listen, this is why these guys are sleepers, but you got to run with the hot hand. And right now, he's got at least 70 receiving yards in 3 of his last 7 games and scoring 3 times in that span. For a guy who's, he's not rostered anywhere. He's like 12% rostered across ESPN, Yahoo, Sleeper. He's not. He's nowhere. But if you're needing that, and the way Trevor Lawrence, this is if Trevor Lawrence was not playing the way Trevor Lawrence is playing right now, I really wouldn't have any. I wouldn't want anything to do with Parker Washington, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
But if Trevor Lawrence is spreading the ball around and he's still got all these weapons, like if they want to try to prepare for Parker Washington on that cold side, that's fine. But what are you going to do for Travis Etienne's running all over you? Or BTJ finally shows
up.
I'm
saying though, like knowing the Colts, that's exactly what I think could happen. Like they might go all in on Washington and then they forget about Etienne. They forget about Myers.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just a thought. Just a thought.
I mean, listen.
Look, they have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of weapons.
They do.
And at the end of the day, listen.
Go ahead.
If you're starting Parker Washington in your championship, whew, good luck to you. Let's just put it that way.
But guess what? Last week, like you said, 6 for 145 and a touch.
Yeah,
and
he's great.
He scored a touchdown last 5 of the last 7 weeks. So he's doing something right, Colts just gave up 40 fantasy points a game, weeks 11 to week 15. And Parker Washington happens to be one of my waiver wire.
I hope I'm right, and I'm gonna post the Christian Bale in The Big Short. And I'm gonna be awesome. Okay, I don't know, that was stupid. All right, let's get into the segment. So this week, let's see. I wrote down Ramondre Stevenson. We've been talking about him all show. If he's out there, go get him for sure. He's probably debatably the number 1 guy to go get. Michael Carter, he's another one. Raheem Sanders, like the commissioner said earlier, those are guys I think that are decent to go and try to grab. 2 defenses I like. I love the Saints defense. I have in my DFS lineup. They're just balling right now, and it doesn't even matter because I'm pretty sure they're eliminated, but they don't care. They want to go and try to win football games, and I love it. Also, the Patriots defense, I don't even – the odds of them being out there are probably very slim. But they play the Jets, and they're terrible, so try to get them. And I spoke about, before the show, Charlie Smythe, the Saints kicker, the guy from Ireland, I believe. He balled out. But if you need a kicker, I think that's an option for you. So there you go. Those are my waiver wire pickups. Doctor, what do you got?
Yeah, listen, it's crazy to think about it, but especially at tight end, if you're in the chip and you have George Kittle and he's got that ankle injury, they're saying there's a chance he plays, but I mean I saw him the way he was walking, he couldn't cut or anything. He might have one of those games where he plays, but he's just in there blocking the whole time. Taysom Hill, Taysom Hill's getting involved again. There's no Kamara. There's no Kendra Miller. He's done for the year. Taysom he's throwing again. He's running the ball. He's catching the ball. Taysom Hill is that that 1 in a million chance where he could run a score in and he could throw a score the next drive. So if you're hurting for tight end and there's really nothing on that waiver wire and he's sitting there, I mean, why not? I mean, sure, you're going to get no points if you play some garbage guy anyway, maybe 3 points or whatever. But Taysom Hill has that upside where he can drop 30, 40 points on someone on any given Sunday. Chris Rodriguez, he looked good last week. They're still mixing in Bill Krosky Merritt. They're still mixing him in, but I love Chris Rodriguez. He's looking good running the ball. It looks like he's finally healthy. And with Pat Bryant, I don't think he's going to be in this game after taking that massive shot and getting carted off the field this past week. So Troy Franklin for me, I think he's starting to get the ball thrown to him more with Bo Nix anyway. these guys were college teammates, and I think he's going to be mixed into this offense a little bit more because Pat Bryant's more than likely going to be missing a few games. How about you, Henry?
Well, you make some great points there, Doctor. A couple of guys I already talked about. Parker Washington, obviously, a great pickup this week. I don't think we need to bang that drum anymore, but if he's available and you need a receiver, I think he's a good plug and play. Manny Wilson, I think, is the pickup of the week. Josh Jacobs does not look like he's going to go, and he could be a top 12 play. He plays the Ravens this week. If you have like a ton of fab left, put it all on him and you get him, because even if you don't use him, you're blocking your opponent. I think it's a good play. Tyler Shuck, guess what? This guy, I believe, could win you a championship. He plays this week against the Titans. They give the second most fantasy points per game the last 4 weeks to the quarterback. Last week, he put up 308 yards passing. So I think he can lead your team to victory if you're somehow damaged at the quarterback position. But the fact of the matter is you're in the ship, and you're in the ship for a reason, because your team's probably pretty good. You know what I mean? So I think I just like to spend the rest of my time in this segment just talking about some top playoff plays this week. Just a few things to mention that we all kind of know, but maybe if you need reassurance, because a lot of times when you get to the ship, you start overthinking some things. And a great man told me many, many years ago, keep it simple, stupid. Use what got you there, and that's it, right? Matthew Stafford plays Atlanta. Atlanta allows the sixth most fantasy points to the quarterback. He is a great play. Drake May, in my opinion, the number one start this week at quarterback, plays the Jets. And the last 8 games, Drake May's over 20 fantasy points a game. A great start. Saquon Barkley plays Buffalo. Okay, they give up the third most rushing yards to the running back, and Barkley hasn't been a guy you can count on every week. And I said this at the beginning of the season. I'm going to say it again now at the end of the season. If you don't believe it, if you didn't believe it then, hopefully you believe it now. Guess what? Madden curse. Dope took the money, and what happened? All of a sudden, he's not running the ball as well, and
he didn't get hurt. You were convinced he was going to get hurt. You said it all off season, and you didn't draft him because of it. And you're happy. You're happy you didn't draft him because he didn't do anything this year. But you were when Saquon gets hurt,
you're right.
Jacob McCarthy, top 12 quarterback. You got nothing. Okay.
You know what got hurt? You know what got hurt? His production got hurt.
Yeah, whatever.
His production.
You kept saying,
which is even worse.
When Saquon gets hurt, he did get hurt. You're wrong.
Listen, it's even worse. His fantasy production has been horrible.
Listen,
guess what?
The season ain't over.
You don't have an offensive line.
You're right. This week, though, he pays off big against the Bills. I love Puka Nacua against Atlanta. Again, a no-brainer. They allow the most fantasy points per game since week 12. A.J. Brown against Buffalo. 3 straight games with 14 or more fantasy points. Kenny Gainwell versus Cleveland. They give up the most fantasy points to the running back since week 8. So, listen, if you got these guys, just start them. Don't overthink it. It's fantasy championship week. You did all the hard work. You got there. You already have the guys most probably. Just start the right guy. Start the guys that got you there, and you'll be fine. All right? Win or lose, you'll be fine.
All right. To close the show out, I first want to thank Kraft Mac and Cheese, because I drafted Tucker Kraft and I got a box of free Kraft Mac and Cheese. I entered in the sweepstakes, and we all hope Tucker Kraft gets better for next year. I'm going to throw out. I'm looking at my current ship team right now, and I was going to ask you both some questions about starting and sitting. I currently have Quentin Johnson in right now, but if I were to get Emmanuel Wilson, would you start Emmanuel Wilson over Quentin Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah, listen, it's Houston's coming to play. These guys are playing for the first seed, by the way. A lot like
that's true.
The nice thing that right now about the teams that we really care about, it's all competitive. There's no one who's running away and is the locked in first seed. Everyone's playing for seeding right now in the playoffs. So these guys are playing football. They're not sitting.
Oh, yeah.
They're not doing anything. They're going to play their hardest football. I definitely think Houston. They kind of got they got away with the win. Like the Raiders were doing something. Genty had a great game.
Yeah, that's true.
The Raiders could have snuck that game. I think Houston's going to come back with this defense and really try to make a statement. If anyone doesn't remember, last year in the playoffs, Justin Herbert had an insane outing against this Houston defense, and they smacked him around the field. I could definitely see it happening again, especially with that offensive line being banged up. So if you have Emmanuel Wilson, I would definitely slot him in if Jacobs isn't playing. If Jacobs is playing, that's kind of different. Then I might go back to
right. Absolutely, yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Right. Lastly, to end the show, would you start Troy Franklin over Devonta Smith against the Bills? The Broncos played the Chiefs.
Ooh. It's hard to sit Devonta Smith, man.
It is.
I'd probably go with Devonta Smith. I mean, he's been getting it done. Hurts is all of a sudden throwing the ball to receivers pretty equally, 6, 8, 9 catches a game here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean the Chiefs are cursed right now. I mean they've got nothing going on. I'm debating on whether to bench Travis Kelce in my championship game this week and play Colby Parkinson because I just don't know what he's going to do. He caught one pass this past week. I don't really trust that game. I feel like Denver could be up a lot, and then they start sitting guys. They start rotating in, all these other players. They start just running the ball out to kill the clock.
Yeah, Devonta all day.
I would go with Smith just because the Bills are playing for everything too.
Yeah.
They're neck and neck with the Patriots. They're trying to win games, man.
Their defense isn't even that good. Let's be honest.
That's not
where it is. You're right. I wasn't even thinking of that because you know what? I was looking at the wrong thing. That's what it was. All right, that'll do it for us here at the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show for 2025.
Good luck.
Good
luck.
Good luck to everyone. And remember, if you're not playing fantasy football, you're probably debating whether Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Have a great season, everyone. Go win that championship.
Go win the chips.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at KAF Football.